So as we get ready here, thinking ahead. So the half kneeling row, you're going to need something to, like a band. If you don't have a band, you can do a like a dumbbell or kettlebell row. But if you have a band, think of somewhere where you can loop it, loop it under the leg of the couch or around the banister or around some pole in your house, whatever it is. Because we're going to be doing a half kneeling row. Ideally, if half kneeling doesn't work out, we can go like a standing row where you're just rowing, like holding the band here and pulling. But we want to get some sort of row in today, preferably with the band. Okay, so this one is, we may end up kind of spread out here by the end. Let's go ahead and jump on the roller first, and you can roll yourself out as I'm talking here. So as you can see in the chat, we've got the 6, 8, 10, 12, and then back down 10, 8, 6. And so we go through all 5 exercises, and warming up on the way up. The 10s and the 12 are going to be pretty tough depending on the weight that you have. Remember, you can always adjust the intensity of this by using a different weight or just using your body weight. So it's whatever you need. If you know that 1 or 2 of these things is not good for you or doesn't work for you in terms of like injuries, that kind of stuff, make sure to substitute that out. If you have a question on something to sub, go ahead and type it in the chat, or you can shout it out. You'll probably have to unmute yourself. But yeah, if you have a question in terms of what to modify it to, if you know you can't do one of these things, I can offer some guidance in terms of modification. So as you're rolling out here, let's work our way up to your hips. Kelly will be down in a second. We adopted a couple of puppies yesterday, so she's on puppy patrol this morning. They've been awesome so far. They had a great night last night, so all positives so far. So we should be rolling our hips by now. Remember, you're just looking for spots that feel tight, that feel sore. I think everybody's pretty good at doing this. Sometimes you even do them throughout the day. So if you need a break or if you've been sitting for a while, one of the best things you can do is kind of jump on a roller. We'll roll over. We're going to do the front of our thighs also. So rolling out your hip flexors and doing kind of a standing hip flexor stretch is one of the best ways to get out of that seated posture. So just keep that in mind. If you've been sitting and you feel like your back's starting to hurt or your hips are starting to hurt, best thing to do is jump on the roller and roll out your hip flexors and then do a hip flexor stretch, and I'll show you what I mean in a second. But let's roll over. Let's put one thigh on the roller. So shift it off to one side. Then we're rolling up and down. You can turn out to the side a little bit. So you're rolling down the side of your leg. And good. Let's stay on that same leg. Roll over onto your side, put the roller next to you, and we're rolling forward and backward on that roller. The roller is going to be parallel to you, so we're rolling out your groin here, rolling out the inside of your thigh. Two inches of snow today, which is great. It's April, but
have fun with the puppies.
Yeah, they're going to love it. We've already been out this morning. It wasn't too bad. All right, let's switch to the other leg. So we're going to roll up and down the front of that thigh. Any luck?
Yeah.
Oh. We've got the game board all ready for tonight. Hope you guys can join us for the trivia night. If you're watching this live, it's tonight at 9 o'clock. Bring your favorite beverage and your thinking cap. Rolling the inside of your thigh here, rolling your groin. And good. All right, so we're gonna go to all fours here. We're gonna do just some simple hip rocking here. So we're gonna rock back. Think about as you rock back, as you reach your hips towards your heels, you're gonna think about keeping your tailbone up in the air. Right, so you're here, then we're gonna move, push forward into that push-up position. And we rock back. So this should be kind of it would be as though you're at the bottom of a squat, right? So really keep your tailbone up, reaching your hips back. A lot of people won't feel a stretch on this one because if you let your tailbone round over and you flex your lower back. And we want to get to the point where you're extending your lower back and really reaching your tailbone or your waistband up towards the ceiling. So we're just rocking back and forth here. Good. Next time you rock forward, we're going to take your foot up next to your hand for a Spider-Man stretch. So as you have your foot flat next to your hand, you're going to really try to push your chest away from the floor and push your hips down toward the floor. You got your roller next to you. You can push down into the roller, lift that chest up. And from here, let's just stay put. I'm going to keep my back knee on the ground. You can choose to lift your back knee if you want, so you get kind of a calf stretch out of it. Actually, this is feeling pretty good, so I'll stick to this. All right, but here we're going to rotate up. Push all your weight through the hand that's on the floor. And we open and close. You're going to be turning your chest toward the knee that's forward. Let's open and close 6 times here. And once you're done there, we'll switch sides. You know, Steve, when I thought of you, because we were when we were trying to figure out puppy names, the name Stella came up. And I was like, no, we can't do that. I can't do that to Steve. Not naming our dog after your daughter. So we dodged one there.
I appreciate that.
All right. Either bringing that back leg up or leave your knee on the ground. We're going to turn chest toward the forward knee. And we open and close 6 times. And good. All right, let's go ahead and stand it up. So the standing hip flexor stretch that I was talking about, all you got to do, if you've been seated a lot during the day or even after a drive, sitting down, keeping your hips tucked under. So think about now tucking your tailbone under and pushing forward into a stretch. So you got this one foot in front of the other, or if you think of somebody has a fish hook in your belly button, pulling that up. And then whatever side is back, you're going to take that arm and reach up. Look at this nice long stretch. You're trying to keep your tailbone down, fingertips up. Get this nice long stretch here. And let's switch sides. Again, taking that step forward. Keep your hips square, tailbone down. Reaching up for the ceiling. And good. Okay. Just to get moving here a little bit, we're going to step out to the side. So lateral lunge. When you come together, you're going to turn and make your feet make the letter T. So the foot that stepped out, when you come back in, that foot is going to be the top of the T. Okay. So we step out, rotate in. On that rotation, you should be feeling a stretch in your hip. All right. So I've done 4. Let's do a total of 8. So we're working one leg, stretching the other here. And let's switch sides. We're gonna do 8 on each side, so take whatever time you need with this. So since this circuit is not timed, we're gonna probably end up being strung out all over the place, meaning, we'll be moving at different paces. And so, if you're gonna go ahead, no problem there. We'll be setting kind of a medium pace. And if you need a little extra time, take a little extra time, but we're gonna probably set not a blazing pace, but just making sure we're trying to move the whole time. Okay, so lateral bound is just that lateral jump side to side. This can be anywhere between a step, side to side, or we start to jump. Okay, so it's up to you there. So that's the lateral bound. Suitcase reverse lunge. So now instead of holding your weight up here today, you're gonna hold your weight down by your side. So we're just stepping back, whatever leg is stepping back, you're gonna hold on that side, and then switch sides. That means you're gonna be doing one, like if you're on the 6s, you're gonna do 6 on one side, then switch the weight and do 6 on the other, okay? Half kneeling row, preferably we've got a band in one hand. If your equipment just doesn't work out that way, that's okay. Just, you can hold it to whatever you need to do, but preferably it's a half kneeling, so you're on one knee, whatever knee is down, you're gonna row with that side. Push-ups are just push-ups. Tripod transition is where your belly button's gonna point at the floor. You got opposite hand and foot on the ground, so belly button points at the floor, and you're reaching forward, belly button points at the ceiling. So forward and backward is 1, and you'll do however many you need to do on each side, okay? Alrighty. Let's check in here. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Carol. So you guys jump on here. Okay, so starting with 6, 8, 10, 12, and then 10, 8, 6. So we're gonna get strung out a little bit here in terms of timing, but that's okay. Like I said, we'll be right down the middle. So if you're keeping up with us, you're not going super fast and you're not going super slow.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
Quick question on the lateral bound. Is that per side too?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, it is. So everything is per side if you're doing it on each side. So obviously the push-up is just 6. If you have your band and you want to make 6 push-ups harder, if you have a band, you can do a banded push-up. Right? So just whatever you need to make those challenging for you.
Hey, Brian, a half kneeling, if I have to use a dumbbell, just do it like.
So it look like this. It'll be like a standard dumbbell row. So you can either put your hand
standing up. Oh.
Yeah, either put your hand on a couch or chair or nothing. And we're just rowing, pulling up like this.
Awesome.
Any kind of pulling motion. Okay. All right, everybody. So I'm going to set the timer. Timer's not as important here, but I just kind of want to see how long we're going. We do have our handy dandy gym timer here now. Maybe I'll see if I can put that where you guys can see it. Oh yeah, right there. Okay. All right, so we're just going to count up here so you can kind of take note of your time. All right? All right, so we're into lateral bounds. Ready? And here we go. Except is that backwards?
I was going to say,
I don't know if that's helpful. Okay, reverse lunges are next. Remember, it's going to be a suitcase hold. So you're holding down by your side. I do. Okay, half kneeling row. Remember, on the row, whatever knee is down, you should have the weight in that arm or in that hand. Push-ups are next, everybody's fave. So the one thing I'm curious to check on when we get back to the gym is pull-ups or progress towards pull-ups, depending on where you are. Unfortunately, pulling is really hard to do at home unless you have like a pull-up bar or a TRX or something like that. So we're pretty limited in our pulling motions. So hopefully we don't lose too much momentum on the quest towards pull-ups. I don't hear the kids.
I don't either.
When you have 2 kids and 2 puppies upstairs and you don't hear anything, that's a little concerning. I'm a little distracted right now, to be honest. So you'll notice with these tripod transitions, you get not only some core conditioning, but also like shoulder conditioning. You know, one way to modify those would be just to shorten them up a little bit. So don't reach out quite as far. You can keep yourself in a little easier range of motion. All right, so we're working our way to our 8s. So Kelly, I'm going to pick on you because I can see you. When you look at the gym timer, is it backwards to you?
No, it's good.
Okay. All right. We see it backwards on our side. So, all right, perfect. Remember, on those reverse lunges, take a look down every now and again. Make sure your kneecap is out over your pinky toe, not coming across. Like if your foot had a line straight up the middle, your knee should be outside that line. Okay, if you're keeping an eye on us here, we're into our 8s. I'm wrapping up the 8s here, working our way into 10. Okay, working our way to 10 here.
What are you doing?
Workout brain. I remember the day I knew I was done with my hockey career. I was like, I swear I will not do another lunge the rest of my life. Turns out that prediction was dead wrong. There's a difference between training and working out for fun, though. I mentioned that rowing is hard to do outside the gym setting, but we always try to do it, particularly if we're doing push-ups, because that, if you're in a position where you're doing tons and tons of push-ups and not a lot of rowing to kind of counteract the movement, you can end up with shoulder pain and end up really tight in front here with poor posture. So we always try to row. As you're working on those rows, try to get to a point where the rows feel challenging like the pushes do. So if push-ups are really, really hard for you, maybe, we don't want, maybe not make the rows that hard, but do some more rows. So maybe you got to make it like you have to do more rows. But we want to try to balance the pushing and the pulling. So that's why, a lot of times the body weight circuits only can get you into some trouble. So we want to try to find a row that's challenging for you, whether it's by using a certain weight or by using a certain band. Kelly's suggestion was also don't do push-ups. It doesn't work that way.
Anti-push-ups.
Turns out it's one of the easiest things you can do. I mean, most convenient things you can do.
Oh, you didn't do tripod.
That's it.
You don't get to do it. You gotta jump with me. Go.
Seems like pretty fast pace. Okay.
We're not even halfway through.
All right, working on our 12s here. So we're getting started with the 12s. Lucy's probably on her way back down on the 8s already. On those lateral bounds, make sure shoulders stay level. Don't let your upper body wave around like seaweed. On the lunges, let your front foot spread nice and wide. Keep your arch nice and high. is where it starts to get real. Much better you are than though.
Oh, sweet Jesus. These shoes are so dirty.
We're about to crest the top of that hill here, guys. Putting the longest ones behind us. Then we're all downhill from there. There's a lot of these.
Yeah. My hand's slipping on the floor. Oh. Now we get to go 8, 6. Now we're gonna do 10.
10. After you've grown your 12, you're working your way back down to 10. I'm shaking my floor. Really pushing the outside of your foot down through the floor on the lunges. Big toe pressure in the ground. Big toe actually affects a lot of what goes on up the chain. So we want to make sure we're engaged there too. We'll do your push-ups there.
Huh?
Do your push-ups on there. A couple words about tonight's trivia night. So it is family friendly. There's no adult content. What it's going to be is I'll read a question, and each house or each individual in the house will answer on their own, keep track of their own score, and then we'll have people, I'll just randomly pick people to select the next question or category. So, you know, like if the German family wants to participate, if the kids are up that late, which of course they are because they're in high school, 2 of them, feel free to join. Either compete as a household and be your one team, or you can compete against each other. So totally up to you there. We're scoring on the honor system. There are no prizes unless you find it to be a prize to have the satisfaction of answering questions right. So that's your prize. If you're keeping up with us here, we're back down into the 8s, back down into the single digits. But no, I really hope you guys can join us, and I've already got trivia night number 2 lined up. So that's going to be this very same link. So the same link that you clicked to join this workout, it's going to be the same link. That's basically my Zoom office. So the categories tonight: 80s movies, U.S. geography, 5th grade science, colleges and universities, and 2 more, I'm sure of it. I don't know what they are right now. It'll be grab bag. But it's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you guys can join us. All right, working in the single digits here. Ready? Here we go. We're on our 8s. '90s sports teams. 90s sports is one of the ones I forgot. Is it game show history? Hang on. Yeah, game show history is the last one. Okay. Down to the 6s, one last round here. That's a good one.
Like I feel like I'm strong.
Yeah. sometimes when I throw these circuits together, it's I'm just picking things that I think will go together. As I work through this one, there's a lot of stuff that complements each other really well in this. We're working the outside of our hips. With the tripod transition, we're working the inside of your hips. Of course, the reverse lunges work the front and back. So this is a good one. If you're going to repeat one, this would be a good one to repeat. Not today, but. Okay, we are on our 6s here. You don't have to go through that again.
No, it'll hurt you.
Good to see everybody working hard. It's tough to tell where everybody is, but. Yeah, so tonight, well, that's a good bit of work, about 25 minutes. For tonight, bring a friend if you want. The deal is, if you bring a friend who's not a member, I mean, a spouse, yes, or a significant other, sure, no problem. If you want to invite a friend that you think would enjoy it, just forward me along a name and email address. That way I can reach out and thank them for coming. So thanks for joining us this morning. Awesome group. Happy Friday. Enjoy the snow. Maybe go sledding today. I don't know.
Thanks, Brian.
Talk to you
Thanks,
later.
Brian.
Oh, yeah, we're good.
Thanks, Brian.
You bet. We'll see you.